Okay, how about this one as a quick, easy one? Top 3 video games, and where applicable, top 3 Magic cards. TJ, would you like to start us off? Top 3 games?
Top 3 games, Earthbound
Mm-hmm.
would be number 1. Probably number 2, also Super Nintendo's Chrono Trigger. And I'm a real big fan of Red Dead Redemption 1.
Oh, okay.
So,
Would you say that, like, Chrono Trigger and Earthbound, you know, they've kind of got a similar era and pedigree.
yeah.
Would you say that, like, is that reflected in RDR at all?
No, actually, I don't. Maybe, but the thing that really hooked me with RDR is I love Western movies.
Mm.
And that one just nails that aesthetic through 3 acts.
Okay. Tim.
Oh dear.
On the spot, top 3 video games now. You also have to defend them.
Sure. I'm not sure if top 3. The 3 that stick out to me. Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars.
Ooh,
I
wow.
think that was my first like RPG when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun. I guess maybe I'd go for Kingdom Hearts. And I'll throw Mario Odyssey on there. Because that was a great like open world game.
Okay. Okay. Max?
Definitely City of Heroes is number 1.
Really?
Yes, I put a lot of time into that game. It definitely informed some of the design stuff that I did, or how I developed as a game maker.
Right. Well, I loved how in City of Heroes, you totally had the tools to make all of the X-Men and the Avengers.
Yep, there was
Right.
a lawsuit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There
I
was a
remember that.
very
But, like,
notable lawsuit.
I had a friend who played the irascible lump
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah, but the costume creator in that was amazing. It did a bunch of very interesting things, riffing off of the MMO format, which had, like, even by that period, had, like, been quote-unquote solved in terms of, like, items and grinding and
Right.
loot and things like that. And City of Heroes changed up a bunch of different things there. And then was also, like, really in favor of just rolling multiple characters and experimenting with character
Right,
in that
right.
game was really good. Costume creator in general, very good. I played on Freedom. Their superhero base creator I spent a lot of time in as well, making a lot of things. I miss that game a lot. Other than that, it tends to drop off very quickly because I am on the spot. But
Yeah,
two games that I
that's fair.
like, but maybe on reflection wouldn't be my top 3, but I will say they're in my top 3 for now, are The Beginner's Guide, which is really good, you should play it, and Battle Chef Brigade, which I also really like.
Why would you say something so brave and it's so controversial? That's really good. Okay.
Bold choice.
Andre.
Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
All right.
On the same vein, Ocarina of Time, but I'm also going to shift over to Bubble Bobble, and also Chrono Trigger is one of my favorite games as well. As for Magic cards, I have Karn the Silver Golem, Umezawa's Jite, and Stab Wound.
Stab Wound is just like the art alone on Stab Wound.
It's-
Like that
it was-
face on the Stab
It's got
Wound.
gorgeous art.
Yeah.
It was a very, very powerful effect, especially in its limited format, and I actually top aided my first PTQ because of Stab Wound.
Right,
So-
right. Well, yeah, because RTR could like wind up in board stalls quite
Drop
easily.
that thing in an O-Fort,
Yep.
and then you just sit there and watch your opponent just go,
Yep.
why? Block this, kill this. No.
No. That's a gnaw from me, dog.
Oh, I do have a favorite Magic card as well.
Oh.
It was 4th edition Scat Zones.
Specifically Judge Foil Karn the Silver Golem.
La-di-da.
It's because it's the old art and
Yeah,
the new
the old
foil
border.
set. No, it's the original Karn the Silver Golem art,
Yeah.
but it's got the foiling process on it. It's the only
Oh,
version
okay.
of that that is foil, I believe.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's very, very pretty.
Juliana.
Guess what I'm gonna pick? World of Warcraft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ben is,
Ben is so happy.
about.
Yeah.
I love WoW.
Good choice.
I play WoW. I play WoW a lot.
Yeah.
Other choices. I mean, I really enjoy Diablo 3. And let's see. I'd go with Wind Waker.
Yeah, Windbreaker is also very good.
Yeah.
I avoided putting in my time sync games like League of Legends and Minecraft and Lord of the Rings Online because I'm like, there are probably better games, even though I put way too many hours in them.
I mean, if I'm going time sync games, I've got to give a special shout out to the mobile. The mobile spectacle that is Love Nikki Dress Up Queen.
Mine is Puzzles and Dragons, so
Yeah.
with 1,600 days of login.
Well, I mean, like, these choices feel a lot like, in Red Dwarf, when Lister wakes up and Holly informs him that, he's simulated a hologram for him to interact with, one of the crew members. And he's like, "Oh, is it Christine Kachansky? I was in love with her." And he's like, "No, you had one conversation with her ever, according to my records. Instead, I've simulated the person who you spent the most time with, your bunkmate,
No!
Arnold J. Rimmer." And it's like, we hated each other. It's like, well, it's the person you interacted with the most.
And it was like, I picked him because it's the one who's going to keep you the most sane, and it's like, neat criteria.
Yeah. So like, I guess mine would be, Alpha Centauri, which was a strategy game from the late 90s that picked up after the end of Civilization 2, where you are playing the part of the colony ship traveling to Alpha Centauri. And it just did such a great job of feeling like you were the best that humanity had to offer, going to challenge the void of space. Because, like, of course, drama happens, the ship fails, and you split into, like, these 6 factions that each take one of the pods and escapes to the planet. And, like, the factions are, like, the United Nations, who, they're bureaucratic, but they also have the best of the best, right? Like, and that, it did such a good job of avoiding the easy caricatures of its factions. Like, the religious faction could have just been, like, kind of
Fanatical.
Yeah, fanatical, hostile to science, but they weren't. They were kind of like they had a very utopian bend to them, and they were right about some things, right? Like the Human Hive. Ultimately, they were very pragmatic. The Human Hive were the totalitarian faction, but they were like, look, we have some hard choices to make here, and then you just add a lot of like poetry to the flavor text for the technologies, and I was all in on that. And then X-Wing, because I was 3 years old once and saw Return of the Jedi.
I remember that game being great. I haven't gone back to check.
Yeah, I will never play X-Wing again because I suspect that it actually sucks. But I want to believe that the 3-year-old Cameron who ran around with his arms out, going whap whap, right? Because that's the noise the X-Wing blasters made. Was delighted by it, and Dark Souls, got to give a shout out to Dark Souls.
Dark Souls is good, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like it's a joke at this point, right? But it's honestly a really good game. If you hadn't given it a shot, it's perpetually on sale in one way or another for like $5.
Slots don't switch, I think.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Dark Souls is the Dark Souls of Dark Souls.
So is the idea that we're picking
Not wrong.
our top three?
Top three video games and Magic cards if relevant. I don't know if I have a top 3 Magic cards, but I like not Fact or Fiction, Gifts Ungiven. Mainly because I really like the artwork, but it's an interesting effect. And
Look me in the eyes and tell me it's not Ancestral Recall.
I've never actually cast an Ancestral Recall.
You haven't played like the Power Cube or anything?
Not that I remember.
It feels really good.
I bet. I bet. That must feel amazing, but I can't comment on it.
You know what feels really bad though? Is
Yeah.
when your opponent snapcasters an Ancestral back on you, and you just want to go, okay, we're done here.
Yeah, it's all over. Beach, do you want to go next?
Well, actually, Ben is looking like he might have something in mind
Oh,
too.
Ben, yeah, over
you
in.
still need to think. Beach, like if
I
you
need
get
like
yourself
another. I
going.
need like another
Okay.
minute to think.
Okay, I can say mine. I would say my oldest favorite game is what's playing right now. Yoshi's Island is like, in my opinion, one of the greatest SNES games ever. I spent a lot of time in childhood doing that. Also, World of Warcraft with Julie.
Yeah.
Spent like 13 years of my life in this game.
Is that login time or?
Potentially. And then, as of like what 2 or 3 years ago now, Undertale. Like,
Yeah,
I've heard that's really good.
It's, yeah.
Undertale is really strong.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
It's just
it's
a
a very
really
good game.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing Deltarune as soon as this thing's done.
Whatever it is we're doing here.
Yeah.
I need to do my bad ending run of Undertale.
I can't do genocide run. I can't
Yeah,
bring myself to do it.
I mean, I've heard it's really, really bad, or it's hard to do, and also I've heard it's the single worst streaming experience you'll ever have in your life.
Yeah, yeah.
Is if you hurt anything in Undertale, ooh,
Mm-hmm.
the internet's here.
I have no idea how to deal with Undertale, in fact, because it's, and we can talk about this later, but just the idea that it's like, oh, there are certain ways you can play it. I'm like, I don't know what to do now, so we should talk about that later, and we can talk about strategies and stuff.
There's a whole deal to it.
Thank you.
Top 3 favorite Magic cards. Number 1 favorite Magic card is Magic Card.
Okay,
My
number
favorite
one is
Magic card is pizza. Favorite Magic card is by far Eilish Norn.
Yeah.
I love my Lady Gaga. Although right behind her, second favorite card is Shieldred.
Yeah.
I'm a Reanimator player. And then I'd say probably my third favorite card is like Lightning Bolt.
No, it's very honest.
Just
right?
I'm
face.
a mono red. I either play mono red. Red. It's a ring finger. I either play mono red or like Reanimator or something like that. So those are kind of my strategies.
Fair enough. I think actually I'm prepared to name another favorite card, which is Butcher of the Horde.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
You just blown me out with that card a number of times in Highlander.
Yeah,
Like, in your-
it feels like such a good top deck.
Yeah.
Right? You just are like, well, I don't know what I'm gonna do here. Maybe I'll just kill you and stabilize? Scoop up the board and...
You know, Butcher Horde always feels really good in Highlander, but it feels even better in Limited.
Yeah.
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 The
Yeah.
looks your opponent give you being like, why?
Yeah.
Why are we here?
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying, but I'm here to ruin every Khans of Tarkir draft forcing 5-color morph.
Yeah.
Ugh. Matthews, do you have a top 3?
Yeah. I don't Magic,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't have a top 3 favorite Magic cards, but I think at least right now my top 3 favorite video games, probably What Remains of Edith Finch, Undertale, and honestly I have a huge soft spot right now for Monster Prom.
Ooh, okay. Top 3?
Yeah, my all-time favorite probably Knights of the Old Republic. Then I'm not sure which of the Assassin's Creed, like one of the early Assassin's Creed sequels, like one of the Ezio ones would be up there. And then I don't know if it's actually made it to Canada, but Chex Quest. It was a given away in cereal boxes, Chex, literally.
Yeah, really? I know what you're talking about.
It was a Doom port based on like a kid-friendly like Doom port that was released for free in the United States and is like one of the most addictive, like best takes on Doom, the first Doom ever.
That is not something I ever expected to hear, but
Yeah.
that's really interesting.
A lot of fans apparently in chat.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay, Chex Quest.
People going to download it right now.
It's worth it.
Oh, they played it.
Oh,
on-
they
They played it on Watch and Play.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we want to get another giveaway underway?
Yes, and I will. Let me do my games real quick.
Oh,
and then
right,
we'll
I'm
do that.
sorry.
No, it's this is going to be very fast. So, Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Because I put in like over 200 hours on that, and I
Yep.
realized that boy, I must really like that game,
Yep.
and I really do. That was when people said it's an open world game. I'm like, oh, that sounds like fun. I have no idea how they're going to make this all work, and
It just is seamless.
there's just so much going on that I really love about it, and there's just the one thing I don't like about it is how unpopulated it is, and I realized they got away with that by building the storyline around that, and that upsets me because I'm like, if I'm in a kingdom, I want to feel like there's hundreds of thousands of people somehow,
Yeah.
and
that
there really
would be
isn't.
nice.
Right.
And that's the only thing that bugs me about that game. Everything else fits together really nice as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, I remember reading an article talking about the degree to which fantasy worlds should be populated, because you know they're pretty medieval for most of the time, and the argument was that like no, I mean most of medieval Europe was cultivated, right? Like, if your population is living like this, most people need to be making food in one way or another.
Yeah.
Right? So you would think, like, there weren't that many unpopulated vistas.
It's weird because when I show up in a town and I see like some vegetable gardens and stuff, I'm like, that's nice, but you need fields. You need fields upon fields, and you have all these fields, but there's all these monsters around, so you can't be out in the fields and stuff. But still, you feel like you need fields upon fields, and all these ruins of where people were living before they got mowed down. And I was like, now I want to see what those towns were like when they were not ruins, when they were actual functioning towns, the amount of people who lived here. I want to feel that. That's something that Twilight Princess did very well with Castletown, is giving you all these people who live in this space. It feels like a bustling city, and you can't talk to all of them, which is fine, because I just want to feel like there's lots of people around. And then the second one I would pick is Betrayal at Krondor, which almost no one has ever played in their life. There was a sequel made of that, and then an engine sequel made of that as well. But Betrayal at Krondor was really good. It got me turned on to the Raymond D. Feist books in the first place.
I remember seeing ads for Betrayal at Krondor in, like, it wouldn't have been PC Gamer.
Yeah.
It would have been whatever magazine was being printed in the mid to early 90s for computer games. Before the current, like, glossies of PC Gamer.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. And I, to this day, still love that game. I actually, using the dupe exploit in it, I started the game, did the dupe exploit, kitted my 3 people out with all the good stuff, then went backwards through the map. That you're not supposed to go backwards through the map. You're supposed to go to Krondor at the very beginning. And it's just like, I went backwards through the map and tried to get and grab all the stuff, get a ton of, like, basically buff my characters up, which is great because when you get to Krondor, to finish chapter 1, you immediately lose people, and then you will continue to lose people, and they will change out throughout the entire game. So you need to be doing what you can to keep buffing them, but every time you move on to a new chapter, you might be playing brand new characters who are at reasonably low levels. And it's an interesting feel, and it's very well written, and it's very fun, as far as I'm concerned, and maybe someday I will get back to it and maybe even stream it a little bit. And then the third one I would pick is XCOM Enemy Unknown, the Firaxis remake, because I played a lot of that on my iPad, and I could not believe that I could play a tactics game on my iPad and have it be that good and that involved. I never played Enemy Within, the sequel, but I do own it, and at some point I'm going to maybe haul that out and play it again. And I haven't even touched XCOM 2. I'm like, I need to do that too, but never got to there.
I mean, Mario versus the Rabbids did a really good job pointing out the fact that XCOM is a puzzle game.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's a strategy in that you have to, like, manage a bunch of different things, but fundamentally the tactics game is a puzzle game where you're moving things around, and then you roll a dice to see if it actually works or not.
Yeah. And it really does feel like when you're doing, I mean, at least Mario vs. Rabbids, you had the feel of, like, if I roll up on somebody, it's like, I got a 100% chance to hit. I don't have 99% chance to hit. I have a 100% chance to hit. I'm going to hit.
Yes.
And if I don't, then I might miss or I might hit, and it's like, they really, like, focused on that, and it felt really good. Magic cards, I'm going to pick Startled Awake, Hicks's Prison Warden, and I think it's Riskar's Expertise.
That, yeah.
Do you want to really quickly give us the text on Prison Warden there?
Okay, so Hicks's Prison Warden, if I remember this correctly, is a support that casts for 6, and what it does is when it hits the board, whenever you are attacked by your opponent's creatures, they are disabled until Hicks's Prison Warden is destroyed off the board, and at which point they're all undisabled, they're all enabled again, which basically means I can put creatures in lockdown for the entire game and just sit there and pick away at my opponent until he's dead.
Out of curiosity, does Puzzlequest sunset cards? Does it have, like, in Magic we have a standard environment?
Yes.
Where, like, you have access to only the most recent sets.
Yeah.
So does Puzzlequest sub things out to keep it fresh?
We have standard and legacy.
Okay.
I said we, that's a weird thing to say, but they have standard and legacy. They, in standard, right now, they've had some talks with the fans, and the players are kind of like, we kind of want a few more things to play from because you're rotating through stuff. Guilds of Ravnica just landed, which would mean that older sets will rotate out, and they've said, okay, we're not going to do that. Everything back through Ixalan is going to still be in standard, I believe. So that's Ixalan, Rivals of Ixalan, Dominaria, M19, and Guilds of Ravnica, plus Origins. That's all technically standard.
Okay.
And then everything before that, so things like Battle for Zendikar, Shadows of Innistrad, Kaladesh, everything in there, Amonkhet, everything in there. Like all those blocks are part of Legacy now. And so they are always running events, and some are in Standard and some are in Legacy. And so you might build a deck that works really well in Legacy because you've got like I've got a deck that I really love that has a lot of like Amonkhet cards, a lot of Battle for Zendikar cards, and then I try to play that in Standard, and I can't because it's like those cards are disallowed. Make a brand new deck, and I'm like, but I have such the perfect deck that I want to destroy you with, and I can't do that. So I have other Planeswalkers that I've made other decks for. And then in like 3 months when the next set comes out and they have to do a rotation, I'm going to have to like take out all my lovely Ixalan stuff and build something else. It's to help people, because you can only get cards so fast unless you're spending a lot of money in the game.
Right.
And I don't spend money in the game, which kind of makes me a poor spokesperson for the game, and yet I have now played it twice on our stream.
You're a professional version of the PuzzleQuest PT or Pro Tour.
Yeah, exactly. So
All right.
that's how that works.
All right.